Wanderers. The signal flickers once more. Tonight it rides not through wires or waves, but through the hollow echo of hooves on damp earth. We drift into Sleepy Hollow, where whispers of the Headless Horseman cut through the mist. Some call him a ghost of war, others a cursed revenant. But all who hear the gallop know to pray they never meet him face to face. Stay tuned. The tale you're about to hear is one carried on October winds for centuries. A story where folklore, fear, and shadow blur into one. Listen closely, wanderers, for the horseman rides at midnight.
Sleepy Hollow. The name itself conjures images of misty woods, of lanterns swaying in the dark, of a town steeped in silence. In the early days of New York, it was a quiet village nestled along the Hudson River, built by Dutch settlers. But it was not a peaceful place, not truly. The people of Sleepy Hollow carried with them old-world fears, old-world superstitions. They spoke of witches, phantoms, restless spirits. Every rustle in the woods, every chill wind at night could be explained by something beyond the mortal world. And among all these stories, one was spoken of in hushed tones. A rider, dressed in black, mounted on a massive, dark steed. A rider who had no head. They say he was once a soldier. A Hessian mercenary who fought during the American Revolution, hired by the British to fight against the colonies. In one terrible battle, a cannonball struck him down, tearing his head from his shoulders. His body was buried hastily in the churchyard of Sleepy Hollow. But his spirit never found peace. Some say he rides in search of his missing head, doomed to wander until he finds it. Others believe he hunts those who trespass on his land, striking terror into the hearts of travelers who dare to walk the hollow after dusk. Whatever his purpose, the result is always the same. The pounding of hooves in the mist, and the sight of a jack-o'-lantern grinning where his head should be. The horseman was not just an invention of one rider. His legend is older, darker, and broader than that. Yes, Washington Irving gave us the legend of Sleepy Hollow. His famous story of Ichabod Crane, the superstitious schoolteacher who vanished after being chased by the horseman one night. In Irving's tale, Ichabod's fate is left uncertain. Did the horseman claim him? Or did he simply flee, never to return? But even Irving's version drew on something deeper. The idea of a headless rider appears in folklore across Europe. In Ireland, there is the Dullahan, a terrifying figure who carries his head under one arm and rides a black horse. Wherever the Dullahan stops, it is said, someone will die. In Germany, there are tales of the headless huntsman, chasing down those who wander the forest paths. In Scandinavia, ghostly riders guard burial grounds. The horseman, it seems, is not confined to one country. He is an archetype, a reminder of the violence of the past, of battles fought and lives lost, and of the restless rage of the dead. Back in Sleepy Hollow, the villagers treated his story with reverence. At night, they bolted their doors and shuttered their windows. Few dared to travel after dark for fear of hearing the pounding hooves on the road. It was said that if the horseman set his sights on you, there was no escape. But there were rumors of ways to protect yourself. Some claimed that the horseman could not cross a bridge, particularly the one near the old Dutch church. Others swore that charms of iron or rowan wood might keep him away. And still others insisted that the only hope was not to look back, not to acknowledge him, for to do so was to invite his wrath. Imagine it, walking alone on a country road, the fog thick around you, the moonlight just barely cutting through the trees. And then, behind you, the steady beat of hooves. At first faint, then louder, closer. Your heart quickens. You know you should not turn back, but every instinct screams at you to look. And if you do, the last thing you may see is the burning grin of a pumpkin head rushing toward you. Modern tales persist, even now. Visitors to Sleepy Hollow claim to have seen strange lights in the forest. Some have reported the sound of hooves echoing across the covered bridge near midnight, long after the road has emptied. One local swore she saw him near the old Dutch church, a rider in black, silent, headless, who dissolved into mist before her eyes. Another claimed to hear a hollow laugh on the wind, accompanied by the stench of smoke and earth. Skeptics may dismiss these as tricks of the imagination. But in Sleepy Hollow, belief runs deep. The land itself feels heavy with memory. It's as if the soil remembers the war, the blood spilled, the cries of the fallen, and the horseman is that memory given shape. Why does this legend endure? Because the horseman is more than just a ghost story. He is a reflection. In Sleepy Hollow, he represents the scars of the revolution, the brutality of war, the restless souls who never returned home. In Europe, his kin embody warnings, reminders of mortality, of respect for the unseen, of the cost of ignoring ancient boundaries. Every culture, it seems, has its rider. Every people, their ghostly figure of vengeance. Perhaps it is because death on horseback was once so common. Perhaps it is because a rider can come swiftly, silently, unstoppable. Or perhaps it is because, deep down, we know that not every soul rests in peace. So, what should you do if you encounter him? The old wisdom says, do not engage, do not speak, do not run toward water unless you are certain of a bridge. Carry iron if you believe in such protections. And above all, never, ever, turn back when you hear hooves in the mist. For the horseman rides fast, and he rides for you. Legends fade, but some are kept alive because we need them. The horseman is not merely a tale for autumn nights or Halloween gatherings. He is a reminder that the past lingers, that violence leaves echoes, that death may come sudden without warning, and that some spirits refuse to let go. And so, in the deep of night, when the fog rolls in and the forest grows silent, he mounts his black steed once more. A jack-o'-lantern burns where his head should be, its grin mocking the living. And he rides, endlessly, mercilessly. The Headless Horseman is still out there, and his hunt never ends.
And so, wanderers, the gallop fades into silence, but the horseman never truly rests. Some say he waits at the bend of the road, lantern swinging, ready to reclaim his missing head. Others swear the echo of hooves follows them long after they've left Sleepy Hollow behind. If you hear that rhythm in the night, a steady thud, 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 thud upon the earth, do not look back. For it is said that those who meet the horseman's gaze vanish into the fog, becoming part of the legend themselves. The veil weakens, wanderers, and this is only one of many signals bleeding through the static. If you've walked with us through tonight's haunting, consider leaving a mark behind. A like, a subscription, a comment of your own country's ghost stories. It strengthens the signal, and it ensures we can continue chasing these echoes together. Until the next broadcast, stay wary of shadows, mind the turn in the road, and remember, not all who ride in darkness seek the dawn. This transmission now fades, but the horseman still rides.